Hello, my fellow schizotypals. Welcome back to High Lit with Carlisle Fletcher. Today, we have one of the most beautiful and important guests,
Oh my God.
Dylan Bailey, somebody that I've always looked up to and have had dear in my heart since I was a wee 12-year-old, watching what are the fucking werewolves called? But I don't remember. But it was still that Let's Play was fucking awesome, and we
Was it a cataclysm? Like WoW
yes,
cataclysm?
yes, that's burned into my memory.
Holy crap, dude.
Yeah, loved that. And then electronic folk, very
Yeah.
talented guy, very a lot of range to him. And now we're getting into a new album. So just wanted to have him on the show. Here's the multi-talented, very funny, very engaging musician, our very own Dylan Bailey. And so hey man, what's going on?
Uh Dude, it is awesome to be on here. First off, my head has grown exponentially from that little intro that you've given me. I just feel so awesome now. But I love your stuff. It's been so cool to see what you've been doing with Highlight and everything. Your research and everything is so sick. So it's awesome. And first off, you're a great friend, so I appreciate just talking to you, and it's awesome, man. I'm excited to talk about the album and hopefully talk about you a little bit because every time I do something with somebody, I like to kind of turn it around on them and see what's going on with them. So yeah, I'm excited, man.
Hell yeah. I mean, there's also some like interesting topics to discuss. Like one of the things, like I would say, an interesting thing to just throw at you would be like, what do you think about exposure therapy mixed with music? Like, what do you think about having those two things together? Where it's like if you have certain songs or projects that are meant to engage people in an emotional aspect.
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. Man, I don't think I've never experienced anything like that. From what I've seen, but I could see how that would be really good. I mean, just thinking about like how as a teenager, as a kid, or even now especially, there's songs that'll just emotionally connect to me during specific times of my life or really crappy times that end up kind of latching and you're not really sure why. And maybe it's like almost a deeper connection with the artist as they're writing from a particular point of view that just somehow is able to I don't know, unlock answers, I suppose, in a sense. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I also do feel like there's some stuff where it's like songs are very powerful, but I feel like even certain tones, like where it's like you get like one of those instruments that is just like, like the striking instrument, the gamelan. I feel
Yeah,
like a lot
yeah.
of those can be really powerful, very meditative, so
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
yeah, so I
Absolutely.
think I think that's an interesting thing because I'd love to see. I don't have any research prepared, but just seeing how that affects the brain and like
Mhm.
affects like how all that works. I think that would be a very cool subject. But anyways, we got Punch Me in the Face,
Yes,
which is a
sir.
single and an album,
Yes,
and
sir.
it's like if I mean correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like if pop punk decided to have less tattoos on their forearms.
That is, oh my God. I'm stealing that tagline. That's so good.
That's how I would describe it.
Okay, I gotta write that down. That is so good. Oh my gosh, dude, that's so funny.
Nice. I'm glad you like that one. That one's for
That's
free.
hilarious. All right, awesome. Yeah, sick. Dude, that's really, yeah, man, what a wonderful way to describe that. Yeah, Punch Me in the Face is really interesting because you've been listening to my music for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
I grew up. You're like, it's so funny because you're like literally like a small creator that like then became like more and more of a professional. Where it's like I
yeah.
literally like growing. It's I mean, well, at least like an older sibling relationship where it's just like watching youth go through life and then going through life in like a complementary fashion where it's like seeing you get refined as a talent and then being like, oh, these are things I should probably pick up. But like,
Oh yeah.
you know, yeah,
Yeah.
because like I remember I will always bring it up, but the fucking plastic beach cover I think is a work of art. It's a work of art. I want that one. I want that one to be sent to space. I want that video to be sent to space because it is one of the best things of
Yeah.
humanity. Um, but to see you go from that to this really well produced music is incredible.
Yeah.
And so like I just wanted to well first off I wanted to congratulate you. But so what's going on with what inspired you to get into this direction, which I would say is different than Paperbird because that's an earlier piece of yours. But I would say that album was more not math rocky, but like kind of. I would say that it's kind of like it's almost like piano music, where it's like this very delicate or like articulate songs, and then you've developed into a more uh open and pacing based, like rhythm based
Yeah.
music with this latest project. And I was just wondering, so like, is it like, was it a mood, or is there something that kind of inspired you to take this path?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Especially like comparing this to any of the old Sleepless stuff, especially like Paper Bird or anything, which Paper Bird was the one that I think I did. Well, no, there wasn't the most singing, but that's when I started doing a lot of singing and songwriting, like songwriting. But yeah, this album was kind of born out of, man, dude, it was born out of working at a church for like 2 years and only writing Christian music, and like every Christian song is exactly the same, chord wise, lyric wise, structure wise. So like as a creative, as you know, like if you do the exact same thing over and over and over and over again, I mean the burnout, oh my god, it hits you so hard. It's like you stop wondering, or you stop understanding why you even love something in the first place, because it's like, okay, the monotony and the repetition is just, oh, terrible, terrible. So as I was working on all these Christian projects and everything, and they were all the same, I just got so tired of it. I was like, man, I don't even want to pick up my guitar. I don't want to write anything, because I'm just going to write the exact same thing that I said last month, or I'm going to take the same chord progression and just repurpose it. So I was listening to Mac DeMarco, if you're familiar with him. Um, I love that guy. I kind
Oh
of
yeah.
like I binged his music super hard in early 2020, like all of his albums, and I loved his chord progressions. Like he throws in these seventh chords and everything that kind of give this almost melancholic, nostalgic feel that is so just beautiful. And when I was writing Punch Me in the Face, that's the first song I wrote for the album, and it's what was the catalyst for the entire album. I was like, okay, I'm really tired of Christian chord progressions, so let me just do weird stuff. And then I was going in between these chords that I'd never used and these different like modes and everything. And I'm not like big into theory. I know my way around it, but I'm not like I can't explain it as well as other people can. But I started doing these really weird progressions with like sevenths and like major sevenths and everything, and I was like, oh my god, like the I can get this feeling out that I've been trying to express like so much better by adding these particular chords and like this particular like almost punch when you're like moving to a different section. And so Punch Me in the Face, chord wise, was born out of that. And I realized that, hey, I can literally write and say anything I want, and it doesn't have to fall into this very confined box of like 20 words that a worship song is composed of. So that's what started it all. And it was an absolute blast. I wrote Punch Me in the Face inside of a church, and I was just like, man, I'm just writing a song about getting punched in the face like in a church, and something about it was so cathartic and so like just wonderful to express that inside of a pure pristine house of worship, I suppose. As sacrilegious as that sounds, I guess.
Well, I feel like you're one of those people who really do well with that duality, where it's like, I feel like if you're doing something that's inherently like, um inherently not demonic, but like
Yeah.
inherently dirty,
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
like, whether that's like, music or drugs or whatever. And like, I feel like if you're in that place, then you're going to like have a calling to God. But at the same time, if you're like, in the house of God, you also kind of implicitly have this calling for the more tangible and like, human aspects of life.
Yeah.
So I think that it's like kind of, yeah, that's like, if you're living a very human existence, you have a pull towards the divine. And if you're living an experience based on the divine, you're gonna have a pull towards the human. And so I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But also in terms of like the sevenths and stuff like that, it sounds really exciting to me, because it sounds like you're getting closer and closer to math rock and Midwest emo, where it's just like,
Oh
oh
yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, finger tapping and all that shit. It's
Oh yeah.
fucking it's fun. I
Oh
think
yeah.
I think that that's the one time I'm saying you can use a guitar MIDI. If you want to get into like
Yeah.
super duper,
Yeah. 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 Absolutely.
yeah.
It's funny. It's
So
funny you mentioned that, because there was definitely some math rock influence on this. I don't know if you ever heard of the band. Oh, they're not. I don't think they're really math rock. They're more the Midwest emo for sure. But Hot Mulligan. I don't know if you
oh
ever heard
yeah,
of that band.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh my god. I found Hot Mulligan, and I was just like, this is so good. Like Equip Sunglasses. I think that one single that
yes,
they have. Oh my god.
yes.
Oh, I jammed out so hard to it. And I
This
think
is
there's
why,
a
yeah.
I
Sorry, what were
think
you gonna say?
I think if you kind of listen to some of the guitar tones on the album, like electric wise, I took a huge inspiration from Hot Mulligan's guitar tones, like
Yeah.
so hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say like one of the things I wanted to get into also was just to bring up your Twitch streams, where it's like I think that the video game is very cozy and fun, but I think that doing covers, like especially Midwest emo covers, I think would be fucking sick because it's like such a insular and committed community.
Oh
If you know what
yeah,
I mean? Where
yeah.
it's like there's not that many fans, but the fans that are fans are like fucking diehard fans. So I think that if there was more crossover between that and or you just like had like emo nights, like like Thursday emo nights on your Twitch stream, I think that would be fucking awesome.
That's actually a freaking wonderful idea, man. I love that.
I would tune in. Yeah.
Dude, so you're looking forward to the emo nights, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would tune in, and also I think it's an excellent way to get more bands involved with your streams because I feel like that's one thing where a lot of musicians don't know how to just. I mean, what we've grown up on the internet forever.
Yeah.
It's like you had a Let's Play channel when you were in like middle school or just high school.
Oh,
But
and a high school, yeah.
yeah, so you had a YouTube channel in high school, and like the first news show I had, I think I made in like middle school, and it was like a
Yeah.
video game news
Yeah.
thing. And I just yeah, so like you just you grow up on camera and just like having used to being a face and used to using that part of your personality. And then I think there's a lot of artists who are really awkward, where they're just
Oh
like, oh,
yeah.
I don't need to develop that skill. And it's
Yeah.
like I think that they could really benefit from making friends who are better at it. So
Oh,
I think that
absolutely.
you could definitely become not to like plot with you, but I think
Yeah.
you could be a big fish in a small pond there.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would be sick, dude. I love that. I've started doing like some covers and stuff, but it's been stuff that I kind of like play around the area and everything. So like because I'm a white guy that plays guitar, of course there's John Mayer in it, stuff like
Hell
that.
yeah.
But I've started to do like Father John Misty, this one guy Gregory Isaac Isakov, I think is his name. He's a folky kind of artist and everything, but yeah, I mean, even Machine Gun Kelly. I do like stripped down Machine Gun Kelly versions, which is really
Hell yeah.
fun. Really fun, man. I'm not gonna lie, it's really fun to do those. But
Yeah, I think
I
yeah.
love that idea. I want to step into the more of the Midwest emo kind of stuff for sure.
Yeah, I think if you did like a not to just like throw work at you, but if you did a Tuesday Thursday where you had like a Father John Misty Tuesday and like an emo Thursday, I think
Oh
that
heck
would
yeah.
be like I feel like people would have a lot of fucking fun with that. And I also like not to say I prefer one or the other, but the music streams I do think are kind of inherently not to say more interesting, but I feel like you're also able to be more interactive, where it's like
Oh
you're
yeah.
just playing music and like you can just talk with the chat and you don't have to like because that's the thing that kind of sucks about video game streaming is I feel like you have to make up like a character or you like have to make up like an atmosphere to make a joke.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise,
Oh yeah.
so
Yeah, definitely, man. And the next thing you know, I'm gonna become like a Jack, what is it, Septiceye or something? Just start shouting and sound like a little Irish man all the time. And I am Irish, so I mean, it would come out pretty good, man.
yeah, yeah, fair. Top of the morning.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I was hoping you would do it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's funny to go to the Midwest after living in the South because then you're just like, oh, this is exposure therapy. Because then you're just like, oh, they speak nicely and like they're just generally like I don't know. It's like the way that I've always described the Midwest is that it's like it's like even our gangsters are polite. Where it's like somebody they might kill you, but they'll also open the door.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they're not gonna be like mean. They just
yeah,
also have bodies,
yeah.
and like that's just part of their life. So and I love that about it because it is just hilarious to me. Where it's like the idea of just like you're just around like the non-desirables or the nerd do wells, and they're like scary people, but they're also just like, hey man, what's going on? How's it? Tell your folks I said hi. And it's just
Yeah. I love that. I
yeah.
love that.
Character wise, it's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, that is really awesome.
So
Oh
yeah.
man.
So what else were we talking about? Yeah, research though on my end, I find that for the reason why I'm such a research hound is that I guess also music kind of plays into this literacy. where it's like
Mm.
humans so much like post the Industrial Revolution,
Yeah, yeah,
human
yeah.
beings have been conditioned to consume things without thinking about it. And
That's
that
right.
does go, that goes from like music to pharmaceuticals to food to, like one of the things too, where it's like, people are like, why don't kids go outside? And it's like, you have an entirely car dependent city and like suburb structure. Like you can't walk anywhere. You have
Yeah.
to take a car, which means you go from inside, outside, inside to
Mm-hmm.
drive inside somewhere else to be inside. And like
Exactly.
that, so it's like it's just not the it's a very consumer minded reality, and that's where I think going into research and like going into trying to make this stuff more normal for people, also like music theory, like just making
Yeah.
that more accessible, where it's like you should know what a third and a fifth are, you know
Yeah. Yeah, for
it's
sure.
just helpful.
Yes.
You might not need to know what like E flat is, and you might not need to know what a seventh is, but like the more that you do know, it's going to give you more access to making like better. It's like having a higher vocabulary, where it's like you're going to be able
Yeah.
to make better points, and like I feel like it's just so important that people are able to make stuff for themselves.
Yeah. No, that's actually a really good point to make, because you're so right. If you start to understand more about chords and like the way that they're structured, like sevenths, ninths, elevenths, thirteenths, it's like using a bigger word to instead of using like five smaller words. You know what I mean? You're able to add this emphasis and this punch instead of like having to use all these really generic words that everybody's so used to. That's a really
And
cool
that
point.
Yeah, and that's like I feel like the same thing where you're like, hey, I think my kid has autism, and it's like, what do you cook? And they're like, oh, I don't, I feed my
Capri
kid
Suns and
McDonald's,
and Capri Suns and Kraft mac and cheese, baby.
and it's like, I don't know if your kid's autistic or if you're just, like because everybody who has autism has like leaky gut disorder and like general
Ooh,
GI issues, and it's like
yeah,
because like one of the things that's really frustrating in psychology is that like rule number one is that if it can be a physical condition, you
yeah.
cannot diagnose it as a mental condition. So if
Okay,
everyone with anxiety and autism and like all these other conditions have bad stomachs,
yeah,
wouldn't that maybe imply that it's a physical condition of the GI health? But instead, it's like, oh well, no, they need fucking antipsychotics for autism,
yeah,
and it's like
yeah,
that. Yeah, that'll be it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not kimchi. Not like,
Dude, bro, just pop a pill and everything's gonna be fine.
yeah,
That's all you need, man.
yeah.
I feel like this could easily become an entirely different tangent of like the pharmaceutical crap, because I know that you and I agree pretty heavily on that from everything that
Uh,
we've talked about.
yeah, I've covered it. I've covered it a lot. Also, just the entire family taking it. So, mm.
True. Yeah.
But back into the musics and stuff like that. So we got the album coming out. When's it coming out? We didn't even. Oh God. Oh fuck.
Starting off strong, man. Starting off strong. So Punch Me in the Face officially comes out on December 3rd. I've had this thing done for like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 months now. So it's been really
Hell
hard,
yeah.
like just keeping it to myself for this long. But yeah, it comes out on the 3rd. And I got a question for you because I'm really curious about this. I've shown the album to a handful of like close friends and like some family and stuff. And everybody that has listened to it has loved it, which first off, that's wonderful to hear because a year's worth of work, that's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
But everybody that's listened to it has come back and told me that this is their favorite song and it's always been a different song. So for me
Fuck
as
yeah.
like a songwriter, it's like, oh my gosh, okay, so everybody isn't just gravitating towards the single. Everybody isn't just gravitating towards like the song that I thought they'd gravitate towards because of the lyrical content and the diversity between them. So I'm curious about you. Do you remember or do you know off the top of your head which song like was the most impactful for you as you listened to it or that you enjoyed the most? So I'm curious about that.
The first thing that comes off is "Clip Your Wings."
Oh,
Like off
really?
top. Yeah. I think that
Really?
one's interesting.
Yeah. Well, was there anything in particular you liked about it, like lyric wise, instrumentation wise,
I was gonna
or?
say the atmosphere of it, and because if I recall correctly, it's kind of like a breaking point in the album that like takes the like very like regular pacing, and then that one gets a little bit more meandering and like a little
Yeah.
bit more like has more atmosphere and more of like a sad ambiance to it.
Yeah, dude, that's actually a beautiful way to describe it because the story behind that song, I'll try not to ramble on too much about it, but you ever get in those moments where it's like it's so much easier to stay in a very confined, comfortable space instead of like stepping out into like what you don't know is out there, but ultimately that uncomfortability, that scariness of stepping out is what's going to really lead you to fulfillment instead of like staying where you're comfortable. So I had faced a bunch of that in 2020. So as I was writing, I was like, it's easier to stay in the cage instead of like flying out and like exploring this expansive unknown world. So it definitely, I think you hit it on the nail. There's definitely a melancholy vibe to it of like, you can stay where you're at and be comfortable, but ultimately like really just sad and living a life that isn't fulfilling, I would say.
Finding of Isaac.
100%.
That yeah.
100%.
Yeah, because it's that sort of just trapped
Yep.
in the basement. You're gonna keep getting deeper. You're gonna keep
Mhm.
going on. Maybe you'll fight God, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you're in a fucking basement.
That's right. Dude, that's a wonderful freaking way to put it.
Thank you.
That is so
I feel
awesome.
like I should also have like I feel very bad as a host that I don't just like I feel like it should be a Highlands brand where I just have like a post-it like card of just like fun facts where I'm just like here's like a bunch of like just medical stuff I'm interested in. I do have there is some stuff that I one of the stuff like I want to get this on TikTok soon, but
Hmm.
there's like a lot of work being done to differentiate between. So you have people who don't smoke, you have people who smoke weed, you have people who smoke cigarettes, and you have people who smoke both. Brain activity is entirely different between people who smoke both and people who smoke either. Because like brain activity between people who use both is more similar to people who use neither. Meanwhile, people who use one or the other are more similar to each other because like there's something to
Really?
do with the mechanism of combined use that completely changes the results. And the reason why that research is so important is because
Yeah.
like if you're not controlling for things that would like impact the study, all of your information is horseshit. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
how do you get these studies that say like weed fucking kills teenagers' brains, and then you also get studies that are like,
Yeah.
yeah, weed's not that like bad for you. It's
Yeah.
because they controlled for alcohol consumption.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
because kids who are
Yeah.
smoking weed are probably are drinking a lot of booze.
Uh-huh.
That'll, yeah. If you're doing that at like
Wow.
12, it's gonna heavily impact your white matter. But if you're
Oh, yeah.
smoking weed at 12, you can honestly recover from it, and it's not gonna be like it's not good for you. I would never say it's what you should be doing, but at the same, it's just an inherently different uh, thing to look at. But also, cigarettes work that way. So I'd say like that's a fun fact. That's what I have as a just this is some cool science stuff. Yeah,
Dude, that's actually really interesting. I didn't know that. So now that leaves me with a question. If you were, let's say there's like a 16-year-old boy who's watching this and he's like, "Man, I really want to like try marijuana. I think it would be great to experiment with it." Like what age would you recommend somebody like tries it at that wouldn't like negatively affect them or like mess with them?
the same age that they first got prescribed an antipsychotic.
Really?
Mhm.
Wow, okay.
So if
Yeah.
they're on any sort of pill that is a dissociative or an antipsychotic or a benzo, I'd say
Yeah.
you should smoke pot instead.
Wow, okay. Yeah. I
Yeah.
can I can
So
definitely see that. I don't know when do you know what age they start like giving that to kids now?
I was in like I think I was 14.
Are you
Like
serious?
at the youngest, it's either 12 or 14 that I was first given an anti-psych. Because I was on like five different ones, 3 to 5 different ones. But
Yeah.
like yeah, just like and because like it's like they're pretty quick to give them out. They're pretty quick to work with them. And also interestingly, uh, shout out the person who sent this to me. But if there's a comparative study between different classes of antipsychotics, and
Yeah.
there's like an antipsychotic, and then there's another like it's Risperdal and something else. But the second one also can work as a mood stabilizer, which is just because like I always have this question of like how can you use one medication to treat schizophrenia and autism?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's
Yeah.
like somebody has, it's like we're going to use the same thing to treat cancer and gout. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that that would work, but you know, interesting. It's just a cure all.
Yeah.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
give it to children. Awesome.
Yeah. That's wow, that's really interesting. So I got another question for you because it just kind of popped into my head. So, when I was younger, and it's not so bad anymore, but it's gotten a lot better. It still hits me every now and again. But sometimes depression, when I was younger, depression like hit me nonstop. I don't know if it was because I was constantly asking existential questions and making myself want to die from the black hole I was being sucked into, but where in like cannabis and marijuana do you think does it tend to help with depression? Does it tend to help in situations like that?
So I would call it a mood. It's a multiplier, mood multiplier. That's what I
Okay.
would say it is. So like
Yeah.
cannabis is never an escape. It's not an escape. It will never help you. But whatever
Yeah.
you're feeling, it'll make you feel more. So it's like if you're anxious,
Interesting.
it'll make you incredibly anxious. If you're depressed, it'll make you not leave your bed. If you're having decent, chill, mellow time, you're gonna feel fucking,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
completely mellowed out. Because whatever you're feeling, it's going to multiply. I'd say it has a slightly ethanogenic effect where it's like you
Yeah.
can compare it to like a mushroom, where like a mushroom's going to have like a reckoning with God moment. And cannabis kind of has that. So it can kind of get you out of a rut, but
Yeah.
also it could magnify your rut and make you just be like, I don't want to do anything ever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Jeez. Hey,
so
that's really cool
yeah,
though.
I would say mixed bag with helping depression. I would say yeah with that's also why I would like use it as a counter to anti-psychs is that it's like because like so the condition the reason that I have a lot of criticism with mental health, but like so what schizophrenia, what mania, what all these things come down to usually is that your brain doesn't know how to regulate
Yeah.
dopamine and serotonin, because then your brain's just like oh because like it's like the idea of like if depression's not enough and like you don't have you're just not even reacting to stimuli because you're like it's like your mother is like hey I love you and like I made your favorite meal and you're just like I don't even care.
Yeah.
It's like that's
Yeah.
depression where you're just like it's a stimuli and your brain's like I'm not even reacting. But like
Yeah.
with schizophrenia it's like stimuli that's not there. And that's what because it's excess dopamine where like your brain is just being overloaded with all these chemicals, so then your brain's like trying to like apply it to things, where it's
Yeah.
like maybe that's like this thing and then it's like it's too much stimuli, it's extra stimuli.
Yeah.
So the way that you treat that is you just completely nerf the dopamine system, which
Interesting.
I mean, interesting, but also I'm just like, so the solution is we just cut out motivation.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
just
Yeah.
you just cut out stimulation from the outside world. You're just like, but what if you
Huh.
were numb? And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, I wouldn't hallucinate, but I would be fucking numb.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
So like that's
that
where,
that may be even worse to be completely honest.
you know, and then that's where I would say like a lot of it for me is like I would say diet, healthy lifestyle, community, access to all this stuff. I'd say is much more important for mental health
Yeah.
than simply chemical intervention. Because it's like the
Yeah.
same thing with like surgery, where it's like I don't know if you've heard about electroshock therapy, where it's
Yeah.
like he's we're just gonna fry you a little
Yep.
bit. Yeah, I'm kind
Yep.
of sad, so just
Light me up, doc.
yeah, I'm professional. I'm a professional doctor, and you should trust me. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I can just get an electrical wire and cut it in my home and put it in my ear.
Yeah,
I could do
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah. Would that help me?
Hey, no, you got to go pay him for that. You got to pay him
Oh.
for that privilege. Come on now, man. What are you doing?
Oh.
But no, I think it just kind of reminded me as I was working on this album, I spent a lot of time walking and like going on trails and everything. And you've been currently out. I'm not gonna say where you're at, but you've currently been out in a forest, basically, around a lot
Yeah.
of trees, around a lot of nature. Have you noticed that has helped your mood? Has that helped you kind of like connect more, maybe with yourself almost?
It's a 50-50
Okay.
because I would say like my spirit and my nature is very urban, where
Yeah.
like my brain works in a way where I'm like looking out at things and I'm like, oh, that's a 90-degree angle.
Yeah.
Trash comes these days and like there's just infrastructure that like to me that's and also like the thing that really like irritates me is that it's like so like in Detroit in certain neighborhoods you're like out on your porch, right? And like it's like
Yeah.
3:30, 4:30 a.m. and you're hearing crickets and you're
Yeah.
hearing birds and you're
Yeah.
hearing like all the leaves rustle and people are like, oh, like cities are so noisy and you don't have access to green. Meanwhile
Mm-hmm.
I'm like mostly in a wooded area already. So I feel like first off, cities have a lot of natural sounds. I feel like that is something that's completely misconstrued. Not in downtown, sure, but like in your neighborhood, most likely you're gonna have like a lot of just natural sounds occurring anyway. But yeah, I also do find like garbage trucks very calming, and
Really?
I don't know why. I don't know
That's
what it is, but just like
interesting. Okay.
listening to them and then listening to like the pneumatic,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm just very much a happy place for me because it's
yeah.
like everything's getting done, everything works, everything
Yeah,
it makes sense, and then it's like
yeah, yeah.
there's pipes in the ground, and it's like somebody's job to make sure that that's working, and it's
Hmm.
like we could make things better if we want, and all space is being used, and like to me, my brain, I'm like, this is fucking amazing, and then you put me out in the woods, and I'm like, the fuck is happening,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah. There's like because people haven't really inhabited where you're at the moment. There's like really there's no structure. There's like
No,
it's
it's the
like you
fucking woods.
yeah, you have to be the one that starts making that, or else there isn't. I mean, besides like a squirrel running up a tree, I mean, like at random, there's
You
no
know,
structure.
so yeah, definitely, I would say the woods are it's lovely. It's a
Yeah,
very amazing experience. I'd say it's very beautiful. It's very touching. It's very cool.
yeah.
So I'd say like there's a lot of positives to it. But yeah, in terms of like me personally, I'd say I don't. It's not like my favorite thing. What is nature wise? If you put me on like a seaside cliff in the Mediterranean by the ocean, I'd be like, oh,
Mm,
this is a happy place for me.
I
This
see.
is
I see.
this is
Yeah,
like really fulfilling, and like also like like I would say like I'm meant for a harbor, like a port
yeah,
town. Like that's very much a top tier A+ place to me, just because it's like that's my I mean like, even like Mobile, Alabama, I'd be interested to go look at, just to be like, oh, it's a port town,
yeah.
because I just love the water, and yeah, the woods they're beautiful, but I find so like my biggest phobia in life, the thing that terrifies me the most,
Yeah.
is like those reeds that you can breathe in the water,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, and like in the South, there's like those like brown, like muddy little lakes, those little
Yeah.
ponds, right?
Yeah.
So like I am terrified. I'm fucking terrified of
Yeah.
like teams of like 5 to 7 like
Yeah.
hillbillies who've never left the county lines,
Yeah.
who just born in that house, die in that house. Those
Yeah.
people just like laying on their back in the pond with a
Uh-huh.
reed and a crossbow, just like a fucking vampire just coming out of that's my biggest phobia.
That is
And like
okay.
it's never happened to me. I've never seen it in a movie or real life, but my brain's just like, I put all these things together, and like it happens, man. It's fucking they're out there.
I love how you're like, it's a phobia. You're just, they're out there, dude. I haven't seen them. I know, but they're out there. They're waiting for me with the reed and the water and the crossbow.
They're home the way you'll never be home. You know what I mean? They're like every single fucking nook and cranny of this mountain. I know. And it's like, oh, shit, dude. Like, talk about guerrilla warfare. They're like, I can use the quick mud against you. And I'm like, I didn't know that was legal. I didn't know that you could, I thought you had to have a license to have quick mud.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Joe. I was not expecting to learn about this weird phobia from you, dude, but I love it. I love it so
that's
much.
it's honestly it's the scariest one to me.
Wow, that's so much more interesting than people that are like, yeah, my biggest phobia is like drowning or dying in a fire. Yours is so unique, man. I love that. I mean, like, it's
Yeah.
terrifying for you, I'm sure, but I love it.
Are you what do you feel? Do you have brunch with these people? Do you go deer hunting with the fucking swamp hillbillies?
Unfortunately, man, I have grown up with swamp hillbillies, bro.
You're not, and you don't find them at all intimidating.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, I don't talk to them. They're kind of weird, bro. They're kind of weird, bro. Just saying.
Scary.
Just saying. I get it. I get it, dude. Especially like when they start speaking like kind of English, but you don't know what they're saying. Oh yeah, yeah. They've had enough like what is it, like dip or whatever, so like their teeth are completely gone and everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Waiting with the crossbow.
Somebody who doesn't somehow is the most American person you've met who doesn't have a birth certificate. They're like, I was just born in the fucking woods. And it's like,
yeah.
Oh, so you just
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know it's funny. It's funny being in the South because I've never heard you're not from around here more in my fucking life.
Yep.
Oh my god,
Yep.
I've teased Yankees my whole life because like I've just been like, ha ha ha, Yankee culture, ha ha, you're a Yankee, and
Yeah.
then like you move to the South and you're like, I am.
Oh
No,
yeah.
I'm a Yankee. I'm a fast
Uh-huh.
talking Yankee. I don't get what the fuck's going on out here.
Uh-huh.
And like they're in like Alabama, they're like, yeah, so it's raining, so we're gonna form a circle with our trucks and beat the shit out of each other in the field. And this is what we do with our friends because this is like this is a
Yeah.
recreational activity. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, a bar fight? Did you mean a bar fight? And they're like, no, 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 no. This is just bonding.
It's a dude, oh my god. It's some of the deep southern places you can go. Oh my god. It is weird, bro. I sort of grew up in one of those, man. Like I grew up on a dirt road in an area called Browntown, man. It doesn't get much more backwoods than that.
How far is that from Flavortown?
Get
Fuck.
get out of here.
I've lived in Mexican Town. Is the Brown just like I don't know what a family name?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Just a big old family name. Yeah.
Okay. And that's why there's a Lynchburg, Tennessee, which also you would
Yeah.
think that we would just like you'd think before the conversation about statues would be like maybe we don't have a town called Lynchburg.
That's a very good point. That is a very good point, and I'm surprised it hasn't been brought up. Actually, I'm very
Right?
surprised.
The Burg of Lynching?
Mm-hmm.
Or is
Mm-hmm.
it the Lynchesburg?
Yeah, yeah. The Lynchesburg. I like it. I like it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it's
Let's get
just
rid of the statues. Yeah.
but it's just like because I literally I was just like rolling around in Tennessee and then I saw that sign and I'm like, because again it is like I'm not from around here.
Yeah.
No,
Dude,
yeah,
and you know it's crazy that you're speaking of Tennessee because I forgot about it, but like I'm moving up to like North Carolina in the coming year, so it's like it's really cool that you and I are gonna be like way closer. I'm really excited to like
no, yeah,
be
we'll
able.
share a border.
Oh heck yeah, man!
Yeah,
Heck yeah, dude! I'm
yeah, but
excited, bro.
you're gonna be closer to Knoxville or I forget what it is like I forget how they fucking say it, but it's like this weird
Yeah.
fucking because also they got every single state in the South has like we have 15 different regional accents and it's like
Yep.
fuck
Yep.
fuck
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna remember all of them, but like
Nope.
good to know.
Dude, if you ever came down to where I'm at, like this deep redneck area, bro. Oh my god, you'd stand out so hard, bro. You would stand out so friggin' hard.
I've never been like proud of being a Yankee, but it's not, you go to the South and you're just like, we have some good points.
Yeah.
No, there's that. Yeah, like running water. I'm like really a big fucking fan. Because like the South, you like literally you cross over, you just get out of Cincinnati, and then like as soon as you're in Kentucky, they're like outhouse.
Yeah.
Have you considered outhouse?
Yeah.
And it's like, have you considered washing your fucking hands? And they're like, beer. You take beer and
That's all
alcohol
you need, dude.
kills.
Yeah, see? Sanitary. Sanitary, bro. Oh man. Thankfully I was never in like a redneck enough area to like have an outhouse, but like oh my god, I've seen it, bro.
I'm one generation from it, which is also what's fucking annoying because like my mom grew up without when she was like a baby, like her first memories on a farm without water or electricity.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then there's like one generation later, and then I'm a fast talking Yankee, and it's like,
yeah.
Because now you go to the South and they're like, because it's funny because they're like, you look right but sound wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, dude. They pick you out quick too. Oh, they pick you out so quick.
Yeah, because they're like, you look like you're from around here, but you don't sound like you're from around here, and it's like, yeah, sorry. So also as a Northerner, I've learned I don't use y'all in the South.
Yeah.
It's not cool. They do not want to hear it out of your fucking mouth.
No. They give you that look. Oh, bless your soul.
Yeah. Yeah. North Carolina. Are you gonna be mountainside or waterside?
West side, so close to Asheville. So I'll be
Hell
pretty
yeah.
close. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We'll
You're gonna be
in
in the Appalachia little dip.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm excited. I'm looking to ironically enough, I'm looking to do kind of off-gridish stuff a little bit with some
Oh,
of
if
that
you need
because
anybody to build a fucking clay house, I mean,
dude,
Jesus.
dude, you never know, man. You never know, bro. So how
Yeah.
is so I've still got a little bit more time, but like how has the experience been in like starting to build your own house, man? Like how has that been?
I fucking love making cobblestone paths. That's what I've learned about
Dude, you're
me.
such a Minecrafter.
Everybody was like, real life's not Minecraft. Real life's not Minecraft. Like, it's going to be totally different. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
have you heard of 8 hours of labor a day? Have you heard of just applying yourself? It is fucking Minecraft.
Yeah,
What, I get
exactly.
the materials, refine the materials, and build something.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, but it's labor. And I'm like, you think I was scared of labor?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was not the problem. If you've seen my Minecraft and you've seen my Minecraft worlds, it's not the labor. It's honestly more of an effort to design things in that fucking world than it is in real life. Because
Oh
in real
yeah.
life, you're like, a rectangle is the cheapest thing to build. Build a fucking rectangle. In
Mm-hmm.
Minecraft, you're like, how do I make like a fucking, like, I don't know, like 1820s style like townhome?
Yep.
And it's like
Yep.
it's way more complicated. I would say that's actually difficult. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I would say so. Like cobblestone path is fucking amazing because you just take like clay and limestone and just smooth that out, and you have a path. Stone foundation, pretty cool. Still haven't quite figured out how to make a recipe for rammed earth, but brick's also exciting because brick would
Oh,
be cool to
okay.
build with. And then eventually gonna learn how to do thatch roofing. So all of
Ooh.
those have been like it is all exciting stuff in my opinion.
Yeah.
Stone is definitely the heaviest, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, I love it. I love moving rock.
Dude, that is so cool, man. What I love is that you kind of I remember you randomly mentioned it to me like a few months ago or whatever, and then you just went out there and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna learn it, I'm gonna do it. I
Yeah,
love that, dude. That's so good. That's so instead because like I think in that situation it would be really easy to go like, okay, well let me spend the next 3 months studying, learning, making sure I know all about it and like that I have it perfect and I've got this super good plan. And anytime you try to plan on anything like that, it always screws up somehow.
I would say you got architects who design things,
Yeah.
and you got engineers who make things.
Yeah.
You know
Yep.
what I mean? You
Mm-hmm.
got you got architects draw all fucking day, but they got really soft and clean hands.
Yes, they do.
You
Yes, they
know.
do.
Meanwhile, you got like a practical engineer who didn't go to school. Oh, that motherfucker is always working on something. I don't care if it's like a potato gun with a Ford fucking engine,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
if it's like, but yeah, that's where I'd say like, yeah, because it's like to me, the first thing I wanted to know was how much does it cost your body? Because
Yeah.
it's like I've done demo, I've done carpentry, I've done a lot of construction work in my life,
Hmm.
and that is stuff I love, but I was worried about like digging clay and I was worried about like moving rock. But now I can move a ton of rocks in an hour. So I'm
Yeah.
feeling pretty like up to par and like, physically fit. But like that's where it's like, yeah, I would say like you have to immediately do labor to like get your body used to like, labor. And like
Yeah.
that's where it is like design just doesn't really matter until you have that. And once you have that, I would say you can get into learning about it, the like, method and the like, all that behind it. But before then, yeah, I'd say it's a little bit of it's a little bit of not misdirection, but it's missed energy. I'd
Yeah.
say like you could focus on something else more productively.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. I am so excited to see what you do with it, man. I'm so
Yeah,
freaking excited.
thanks. I do want to start. I wish for a building to be done by the end of December, and
Yeah.
like maybe that's possible. Maybe that's possible, but like yeah, by the end of it, I mean like yeah, just as many. I want to get like 12 buildings because I want to do like an almshouse where it's like row of 6 buildings, row of 6 buildings, 2 long buildings, and the courtyard in the middle.
Yeah.
Because America, I can't find anything like that, but it's a very common thing in the rest of the world. And
Yeah.
for me, it's like getting this done quickly because it's like I want to do it everywhere. I want to like just get. I want it to be a fucking job because I love hard labor. I love
Yeah.
construction work. It's like I think that
Yeah.
that is a very worthwhile thing. So if you just like go into like St. Louis and like you just go to like some empty fields and you're like, is there clay soil in this, or is like there clay rich soil? Because like we can just dig that shit up and like make buildings and like we make it like affordable housing for the people who live here. I think
Yeah.
that that would be an excellent nonprofit.
Yeah, dude, that's freaking awesome, man. I love that. That's an
Thank you.
awesome like the drive behind it, the idea behind it, I think is really cool, man.
I mean, it's funny because like people will always be like, they'll criticize Christianity, but at the same time, like the almshouse is almost essentially a Christian idea, where it is like, literally just being like, here is a home for the poor,
Mm-hmm.
where it's just like, yeah, whether you're crazy, whether you're old, whether you're a single mom, whatever it is, the almshouse is meant to be something that's not economically demanding. So it's like, I
Yeah.
feel like if you put those in cities and then paired that with infrastructure, like a train or a bus, you could literally change and not through gentrification but through structure. You could change neighborhoods, like where
Yeah.
before it was just empty fields and before it was like places where bodies were literally dropped. You could
Yeah.
turn that into something that's like, here's something affordable that anybody can get into that really helps you improve your life,
I love
starting
it,
in the
dude.
middle of the woods because it's the cheapest place to do it. But eventually I would love to do it in cities and like just have it as an alternative model to housing solutions.
Heck yeah, dude. That's freaking so sick. I love that, man. I love that. Because like as you mentioned earlier in well, earlier as we started this, you've kind of grown up with what I've been doing, but at the same time, as I've gotten older, old man, as I've gotten older, I've also been able to see you kind of come from this I don't remember when we first met. Were you 14 when we
I
first?
think it's 12 to 14.
Yeah, that God, that's
Yeah.
so weird. That's so weird. but but I remember like you were just really into like Fallout and like Elder Scrolls and like coming up with stories and stuff
Yeah.
with that. And it's been so cool to see you like there's nothing wrong with that. I still love Elder Scrolls and Fallout. But it's so cool to see you go from that to like where you're at now, where you're doing all this research on cannabis and the positive effects on it, and then also like where you want to like give back to communities and everything as you're doing this now. So as you've like seen me mature as I've grown as a musician and everything and as a person, I've also been able to see that with you. And it's been so cool, dude. Like you from what you've come from, because I know your backstory pretty good at this point. From what you've come from and like where you're at now and the positive like path that you're paving for yourself and for other people, I think it's really awesome. So big props to you for what you're doing, man. Seriously.
No, thanks so much for saying that. I also really appreciate that. And I'm happy that you've enjoyed my journey and that you felt
Heck
like
yeah.
I've grown through it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is all stuff I'm really passionate about because also, like, I love construction work. Like, I literally do love it. And
Yeah.
so, like, but when you're working in Detroit and like you're like, taking apart these houses, and you're seeing asbestos and like you're seeing fiberglass and you're seeing all this stuff that's literally carcinogenic and like harmful to
Mm-hmm.
your body. And that's true in like what, Milwaukee, that's true in I would imagine Des Moines, that's true in Tallahassee, where it's like all these places I'm imagining that they have all this toxic and carcinogenic stuff as building materials. You can also build with clay.
Mm-hmm.
You could also build with lumber. You could also build with these things that are inherently safe for humans to be around. And that's why I'm so interested in like rammed earth. And that's why I'm so interested in like thatch roofing, is that it's like, what if we just started building our cities with stuff that didn't make you sick?
Mm. I like that. I like that idea.
Yeah.
All
And
right,
it's
dude.
because it's
I've got
natural
like
insulation.
5 minutes left. Is there anything you want to hit on before I got to dip?
Well, Punch Me in the Face coming out December 3rd. Great. That's fucking exciting. A lot of
Heck yeah.
lyric videos. Check out all the memes.
Oh heck
Uh,
yeah.
Dylan Bailey's a fucking national treasure. Very, very lovely man with a lot of talent and a lot of heart.
So
Check him
sweet.
out on Twitch. I think I'm a mod, so I think I'm a Twitch mod there too.
I think
If
you are
not,
actually.
uh,
If not, you need to next time I see you in there, dude. Give
it's
you that.
always a fun place to hang out. The music
Heck
streams
yeah.
are my favorite, but the video game stuff's also really cool.
Yeah.
Other stuff, yeah, I don't really know. More TikToks from on my end. That's
Yeah,
all I have to really.
I have loved your TikTok route, by the way. So I really do hope you keep doing those.
No,
Those are
thanks.
wonderful.
I think it's hilarious to just do it while doing the labor and not really explaining it, because then people are like, "What are you doing?" And it's like building the home.
Yeah, you're going into this like cannabis research, and you're over there with a shovel, and you're like taking dirt out and everything. I love it, dude. I love it.
Thank you. I'm proud of it.
You're doing great, dude. You are doing awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
that means a lot.
yeah, of course, man. Well, if I'm assuming you're gonna link all your stuff in the description and everything. So if anybody who's come from like my side, please check out Lyle. He's friggin' amazing with everything he's doing and his research, and what he's building is so cool. And yeah, man, I hope you continue to go through with it because it's awesome, bro. I love it.
For sure. You taught me about the links thing where it's one link for all the links. So I have a campsite or a campfire. I forget what it's called,
Yes, I think
but
it's
it's a one in.
I think it's Campfire. I think.
Yeah, I like those. Also, they should do it like bonfire and make it like a Dark Souls theme. That would be fucking funny.
Please, please.
Um, but yeah, I can link that to YouTube. But you also are very active on Twitter. I think you have an Instagram, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you're on TikTok.
Yes,
So we got TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, all of those things. Follow Dylan because they're
awesome.
fucking. I love the content, and I am definitely active on most of the channels with them. So.
Heck yeah. All right, dude. Well, I think that's good. You wanna sign us out, man?
Well, yeah, thanks for tuning in to High Lit. Thanks for hanging out. First off, thank you to Dylan because lovely guest. So happy to have you. So happy to talk again. Just fun to hang out.
Yeah.
But also, thank you to the viewer for hanging out with us and enjoying the show. Hope you learned something. Hope you had fun. Hope you enjoyed the content. Yeah, please check out what we've been discussing and just have a great day. Keep getting literate and keep enjoying what you're doing.